sport mode is a beast. Holy. Yeah, man. We're going to ride some Harleys.
Ah, yes. So this will be the memory that I fall back on when I'm 50 and I can't stand up straight anymore.
Yeah.
When I convert over to the dark side.
The day the FC didn't do it for you anymore.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be my body that fails me more than... I don't know. I don't see them. I mean, I know they're comfortable or whatever, but so are all those adventure bikes.
It's like a sofa.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, here we are. I think this is a brand new, I think it's 2017, Harley Road Glide. This is pretty interesting. This is a big machine here. Don't freak out if you've never ridden one. The fairing is stationary, not hooked up to the front end. Yeah, that's FC Pete over there. He's talking about how heavy this thing is. I can't hear it. That's what's weird. It's quieter than my scrambler. This is pretty weird. I mean, totally different. So first off, we're pretty comfortable. This is a much more tame situation than some of the demo rides I've been on in the past. This is, I mean, okay, so what do you say about a giant Harley? It's comfortable. It's damn comfortable. We haven't been able to wind anything out here yet or see what it's like, but we were doing a tame 50, but I think that's what Harley riders do right now. You know, I mean, I think that's the deal. You cruise around doing 50. I don't know. It's, God, I mean, what can you say? It's literally like I'm on a freaking lazy boy right now, going down a road. That's what it feels like. I haven't noticed, like, the rake isn't real terrible. It doesn't feel like it wants to tip in or anything strange. It's got good enough power to get me rolling. I'm not used to having the turn signals on either side, but I've dealt with it before. But it's a little bit strange. God, it's, yeah, I mean, what can I say? I'm comfortable, for sure. That's the reality. I'm very comfortable. Suspension seems pretty decent as far as it's soaking up the bumps. It feels like I could definitely ride it all day, probably, and it'd be cool. I always particularly like the Road Glide with the dual headlight. I don't know why. I like the look of that fairing for some reason. Even with that low windshield, it's pretty cool. There's a whole lot of stuff going on with this screen and everything. I'm not too interested in the radio, but whatever. I mean, I guess we could crank it up and see. You can hear it. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but let's turn it down here. You can definitely hear it. It's something weird. Maybe it's just angled in the right spot. You can hear that thing as you're rolling. So we're going uphill. I mean, $2,500 is totally different. I don't even know what gear I'm in. I don't really care. I don't pay attention to that. I don't care for the gear indicators and stuff on bikes, but I don't feel like I need to switch out. Like if I hit it, it's there. And there's, I mean, 3,000 Rs, I guess, down one gear. Plenty of power. You know, I mean, plenty of power for what I'm riding, I guess, is what I should say. It just lugs around. So it all depends. I mean, all this stuff I think is entirely about what type of riding you want to do. And it's like, if you want to take her easy, man, this is the machine to do it on. Take it easy. I've seen dudes, so funny story, the dude ahead of us is actually my uncle, and I had no idea he was going to be leading this demo day out or anything. I had no idea until I saw him roll up here. But yeah, so I mean, I've seen guys, I mean, I guess I haven't done a ton of riding with him, but I'm sure he can handle that bike, you know, decently. And I've seen guys on Harleys really running them and taking corners and going nuts. I don't know if I had this machine, I don't know that I would do that. This machine here feels like, man, I would just go in a straight line for thousands of miles, you know. The comfort level is off the charts. Off the charts. I mean, this is just factory seat. I have no idea the stats on this thing. I'm sorry, guys. I just got word about this. I'm sorry, guys. Pete just let me know. FC Pete let me know about this demo day just this morning. So I said, yeah, let's ride whatever. And I chose the road glide just because I've always liked it. I've always, as far as a big cruiser Harley, I've liked this fairing just the way it looks. Dig it. Let him go a little. Well, that definitely, I mean, that's the interesting thing. They don't wind out, obviously, like the Ducati or whatever it is, but when you're in its power band, it definitely picks up pace. I mean, that felt like it had plenty of power, and I could have really started cooking if I wanted to, you know. That thing was ready to rock. So let's see, highway cruising down almost $2 grand. I mean, I guess we're only doing like 60. I wonder if my uncle's speedo was off, or if he just always cruises this slow, or it's contractual because of the demo. Let's check here. Okay, so I am in top gear. I'm in 6th gear. Yeah, low R's. I don't know. I have no idea the gas mileage they get out of them, but it's probably pretty decent. I don't know if he's gonna roll over here or what. Yeah, there we go. And even so, there, like, just a slight roll on of the throttle, even in top gear, it picks up nicely. It doesn't seem like it's struggling. I don't feel that vibration like I have with other bikes. Even on that KTM, that big KTM, it's like when you weren't in its power band, it didn't like it. You know, things get luggy and start to feel like it, you know, the motor doesn't like it. This, they set them up pretty torquey, so it pretty much, like, whatever gear you're in, it feels like, meh, yeah, I'm okay with it. You know, roll that throttle on. It's not upset about anything. It doesn't feel upset. What's going on here with this guy? Fellow Harley dude, I guess. Maybe he's just a lookout, I don't know. Brakes feel decent. FC Pete is fucking, I don't know what he's listening to, man. Wow. I think oh shit. Yeah, it's definitely a different experience. The thing, I guess, what I'll say is, I mean, it's not like I have overwhelmingly excellent things to say. It definitely feels like a quality machine. This newer model with the newer transmission and stuff, it feels less tractor-ish as previous models that I've ridden. The gearbox feels less clunky. It feels more refined. The motor feels like it's putting on power wherever. You know, it's pretty smooth. I can balance pretty easily on it. Nothing feels tippy. You know, so the handling feels decent. We didn't really go on much of a ride or much corners, so hard to fully tell. But that was weird. That kind of chunked. Oh, I didn't know if we were going back. Maybe we're still rolling here. So, I mean, I was able to, you know, just flick it out into traffic if I want, you know, but it's, I mean, it's plenty, it feels like plenty of power there. It feels like plenty of power. I don't feel like I'm getting overwhelmingly heated up on my legs or anything. I mean, it's solid. If you're looking for a solid touring machine, it's great, you know. It feels great. If you want, I mean, let's say if you're touring across the states and not really going for any kind of major twisties, because I'm sure if you start tipping this thing in, it's gonna, it might do it fine, but you're gonna be dragging pegs or dragging pipes or something. So back there, it seemed like it coughed slightly when I was trying to take off and get into traffic. That was a little strange. I don't know what that is, but I know they make a lot of stuff to I know they make a lot of stuff to kind of get them a little snappier. My uncle there's got a lot of money into his ride, and I think that's got quite a bit more horsepower and quite a bit more revvy. This is so weird, because what's weird is this stock exhaust is quieter than what I got on my Ducati. I can't hear it shit. I can't hear the motor, so it's harder to feel it. Huh. So anyway, what I was trying to say before is definitely it feels a little more refined. Is it worth the money? I don't know. I think they're still charging quite a bit for that, just the name. and I don't know if the name is worth that to me. Yeah, oh yeah. What's weird is you still look big on that thing.
I can't hear you over my Harley.
Can't hear you over my Harley. See, like that isn't quite as jumpy. You could tell you could tell that thing lurched a little bit. This is more a nice even keel kind of thing. It doesn't feel snappy. You know, it doesn't feel, I'm never going to be doing a wheelie on this thing. But that's not really what this thing is about, you know. Let's be honest. This thing is all about just taking her easy, I think, you know. For how huge it is, I'll actually say right at the end here, it stops real nice. For how big this thing is, when I hit the brakes, it's slowing down. You know, that's a good thing. You want to be able to slow down when you're on this big of a machine. But anyways, guys, thanks for riding along. Another ride and review here, and we'll hope to see you on the next one. Check me out on Instagram, 2 Wheel Ton. Be sure to like and subscribe. See ya.